Welcome to HB RV Lifestyle, the podcast. I am the host, the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as other things. Today, I'm in a Robin Williams mood. Like Good Morning Vietnam, Robin Williams. You know, like, good morning, RV community. Hey, it's been a great couple of days. Okay. There's some things happening behind the scenes of the podcast and the main YouTube channel, and I'm happy to share that with you today. I think it's going to surprise you guys. I really do. But first, we need to talk about recalls, okay? Now, before we get started, no, you do not need to go run and hide your children. I'm going to restrain myself today. It's been a really fabulous afternoon. I'm going to hold back on the cussing. So if you got your kids around, foul language will not be involved in this episode. Now, for some of you, you're probably snapping your fingers. What's wrong with the guy? Does he need a drink or something? But no, just in a great mood. It's been a wonderful day. So let's start with recalls. First off, real quick before I read off the 3 recalls that were released today, if you want to read the article I'm reading off of in rvbusiness.com, it'll be in the description of the episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, you can simply check this article out. But one thing I want to put context around, because I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it, because I know sometimes it spooks people out to hear the word recall. Okay? Crappy RV. That guy's awesome, but he misses some context and things. And I hope one day him and I get to have a chat face to face, because I think if he had some of my knowledge, he'd be deadly, just deadly, right? So Forest River is number 1 in recalls if you go to the NHTSA site. But there's context behind that, okay? It's a double-edged sword on Forest River's part, okay? So Forest River owns like East to West, Coachman, Primetime, boat companies, power sports stuff. I mean, they're a large entity. And for the most part, they use one service and one warranty portal to do warranty work, recalls, etc. Now, I'm not a fan of online portals. I'd rather just pick up the phone and talk to somebody and email back and forth. But that's just me, okay? But there's a lot of guys in the service side of the industry that I've talked to, because, I've done service and I still technically do service. And they seem to enjoy it because if they have, let's say, 5 different Forest River companies on their lot, they don't have to go to 5 different websites to do warranty work or recalls. So when you look at those recalls, that's the recalls from the entire company. Okay? And that's a tremendously large company, bigger than some of the US automakers. Think about that for a second. Okay? There's some context for you, because Crappy RV said that, and I wanted to reiterate it because some folks had some questions from my last episode when I talked about it a little bit, and I just wanted to give that further context. While Thor Industries which probably by now has surpassed Forest River as the largest RV company again, more than likely. It's always back and forth, Forest River, Thor, Thor, Forest River, always. Thor Industries treats all the companies separate. Keystone, Jayco, Tiffin, Thor Motor Coach. They're all under a different company, all use different warranty portals. But you have to keep in mind, they all have separate presidents and CEOs, just like Forest River does. But Coachman doesn't go by companies. East to West doesn't go by companies. Primetime doesn't go by companies, etc. Forest River goes and buys companies. While on Thor Industries side, Heartland bought Cruiser RV, Keystone bought Crossroads RV, so on and so forth. So Thor Industries as a whole didn't buy them, their separate companies did. So you have, I think there's 6 or 7 different portals for Thor Industries. And imagine, that's a pain in the butt. It is. I've done it. It's like, which portal do I use again? So it's a double-edged sword. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you want to go see that, you need to add up. If you want to see who's really number 1, number 2, you need to go add up all the separate Thor industry companies to get a better idea how many real recalls there are under that umbrella. But getting back to it, this is April 15th, 2024. Forest River is recalling 1,552 2024 Aurora and Coachman Catalina travel trailers. Okay, so Aurora and Catalina are the same travel trailer with a different sticker on it. Blue Compass, which used to be RV retailers, will tell you, oh no, it's not different. Or it's not the same unit. No, it has a different sticker on it and we do different things. No. Sales guys are wrong. They're the same identical unit built in the same factory. Okay? So improper routing may leave the distribution panel wire unprotected from the battery. Dealers will reroute the distribution panel wire to the breaker side of the mini breaker free of charge. The next recall comes from Keystone RV Company, because remember they bought Crossroads RV, and they're recalling 2024 Crossroads Sunset Trail trailers, specifically the 20SS, 253RB, 258RD, 272BH, and 330SI travel trailers. A window roller shade may have been incorrectly installed near the stove, which can allow the shade to contact the burner. Fire! Wow. Dealers will remove the roller shade and install the correct mini blind free of charge. Okay. And then lastly, Airstream Inc. is recalling 172 2024 Pottery Barn travel trailers. The rear axle weight on the federal certification label is incorrect. As such, these vehicles fail to comply with the requirements of Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 110. Tire selection and rims. Airstream will mail corrected labels to owners free of charge. That's a little spooky. I mean, doesn't throw like big red flag, but kind of like, wow, how'd they screw that up? But then again, I want to throw out there, and I want to thank the gentleman that showed up. I'm not going to share his name, but there's a subscriber and a listener that showed up today to the dealership. We were closed, but I happened to be doing some stuff around the lot, and we had a great chat. He has a fifth wheel, and he went to go have his, I can't remember if his bearings packed or some kind of seal replaced. And so he gets the parts because he assumes it's a 6,000 pound axle, because that's what it says on the sticker. And come to find out, when he gets underneath, they're 7,000 pound axles. I'm like, hey, free upgrade. I mean, it's an older one. It's like a 2015. And so just some of the silly, interesting recalls that occur in this industry are sometimes not mind-blowing, but just like the first thought in my mind sometimes goes, really? I mean, really? You know, usually when they do something right or something's going in the right direction, I'm more like Matthew McConaughey, you know. All right, all right, all right. But I start this coping mechanism when I see some of these stupid recalls, the silly ones, and it's just like, really? Really? Good Lord. Oh boy. So, you know, I talked about Liz Amazing's last video where she talked about Lippert demanding her to take down 2 of her videos. If you didn't get to hear or listen to that episode or watch that episode, if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, I'll put the description, or I'll put a link to the episode in the description of this video, or I'm sorry, of this episode. I believe Liz Amazing and Lippert missed out on a fabulous opportunity. I really do. And I've rewatched her video and reread all the communications that her and Lippert were having. And I realized something. I have been saying for 4 months now that even though I am not a fan and I don't really like Liz Amazing's style, she should be the one to do the Lippert interview. Remember when JD from Big Truck Big RV did his puff piece? Because that's what it really was. And I feel bad for him, just to let you know. And if he's listening, I feel bad for you. Because you were put in an impossible spot. The optics were terrible. You're sponsored by eTrailer.com. eTrailer.com sells Lippert components. It just doesn't look good. No matter if the situation is copacetic, which I believe it is, it still looks really horrible. And Liz is an outsider and a watchdog. But the more I watched her, the more I listened to, because I downloaded the last 2 videos she did that have the quote unquote informant, the more I realize she's not the right person to do this. So I'm leaving you in a little bit of suspense. Sue me. So I decided to reach out to Lippert myself. I don't know if you guys know this, but JD actually reached out to me after I kind of, we'll say, reacted to his Lippert stuff. And said he made the suggestion that I do it. And I've had a lot of you reach out to me and tell me I should be the one to do it. A lot of you over the last couple months have said that. And before I go into some details, I didn't want to do it. That's the truth. I really don't want to do it. Realistically. And if you're wondering why, it's not because of, I could care less about the industry. They can all kiss my butt. Okay? I mean, I for 15 years I have sold on product knowledge and transparency. I'm not a personable person. I'm not Mr. Congeniality. I hope I used that right. Um, I'm not the biggest people person. And, there's a word that begins with an A and ends with whole. And that's the perfect way to describe me. So if I was trying to do all these old school sales tactics, I would have failed in my career here in the RV business. I have no experience with this. And that was my fear. Like, I walk in there and I botch it. I screw it up. So I've slept on it. And I've thought about it. And late Sunday evening, I wrote a letter, an email, to Lippert, the actual company. And the letter pretty much just broke down exactly what I just said, was that an outsider really needs to do this interview. And the interview needs to be well prepared. I need to be prepared. They need to be prepared. There needs to be some preparation involved first. They need to get the bulk of the questions up front, because that way we can find the right person to answer those questions. Not a rushed gig like with JD. It needs to be well thought out, well planned. It needs to be professionally done. Because here's the thing. You guys may not agree with me, and that's okay if you don't agree with me. But I believe for us to get to the root of the problem is to ask the right questions the right way. Doing gotcha moments and trying to make viral moments and trying to build clout should not be the goal of an interview. Now, what surprised the holy crap out of me today, I had to change my shorts, I'll put it like that, because I literally crapped my pants, is they responded. And I'm going to read a little bit of the response, okay? I believe it's from their marketing people. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a long email and I don't want to bore you, number one. And number two, I still don't understand half of the email and I still have to kind of wade my way through it. Okay? But I'm going to read just a portion of this, okay? Nope. Keep going down. I screwed up. Hold on. And now the computer's freezing on me. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it? Because I'm overloading it. Okay, there we go. Crap. Hold on one second. Let me get to this. Okay. There we go. So this is from the marketing department, okay? It basically said that I guess they had been talking over the weekend about reaching out to me, and boom, you sent us an email first. I mean, that's literally how it starts. I mean, they used a lot of words I can't pronunciate, but that was the beginning. Like, they had the idea to have me come do it, and I have the idea for me to come do it. And what it tells me is the industry as a whole is paying attention to this podcast and paying attention to the main YouTube channel. So this means that whoever is in charge of marketing over at Lippert listens to my podcast, probably watches my YouTube channel. This will be several other people. This includes several other people that I found out are listening. So this is what I need from you guys. I have my email in the description as I always do. levingstonrvservices@gmail.com. Now, I don't know if we're really going to make this happen. Okay? This is still at the beginning stages. I'm going to give their marketing people a call probably later on this week. I'm hoping to at least get 4 or 5 phone calls in with different folks over there before we schedule this thing, if we schedule this thing. And it's a big if, guys. But it seems they're interested. And I've become interested because I feel like really if I don't do it, nobody else is going to. So here's what I need. I need ideas of questions to ask. Okay? Now, I want to give fair warning about this. If you send me a question that says, like, and this is an example, okay? Can you get Don Clark fired over a grand design? I'm not going to ask a question like that. Okay? The questions have to have a chance at getting a real answer. Okay? And I want to let you guys know this. I'm going to give them a fair opportunity to respond. And I'm also going to give them a fair opportunity to talk about some of the good stuff that they're doing too. I'm not going to be Mr. Armageddon. I want to get to the bad and I want to get to the good. And, you know, I might have to Columbo a few questions. I might have to turn some of your questions and kind of work things around. So that way it's a fluid situation where we get the answers we're looking for without putting them liable in a lawsuit. Okay, there's going to, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me about this, and I totally understand it. And a lot of you are probably going to abandon the show because, you know, you just don't believe that should be the case. But I know for me to get the answers that we are looking for as a community, that there has to be some give and take, and there has to be some trust building. And to get those answers, we can't just simply demand everything. We have to give and take. So think about those questions. What questions would you ask? What photographs would you use? You know, I want to use some props. I want to use some photographs and some video that a lot of you have with your Grand Design fifth wheel, your Jayco fifth wheel, your Keystone fifth wheel. A lot of you that have had this frame failure / frame flex problem, you know, send me some more pictures. I have some already, but send me some more. Send me some video. I want to be able to use props, and I want to send them what I want to do, so that way they can go and give me the proper answer and the answer we're looking for. Now, I may blow up the picture where it doesn't show the brand. I may have to do that. I don't know yet. I got to get this thing organized, but I need help. Because I think this is an excellent opportunity for the RV community and Lippert. I think it's an excellent opportunity in general to not have a puff piece, but have a real good, hard-hitting, informative, educational, and transparent interview. And, give them an opportunity to respond with some of the things that they're changing or that they plan on changing. Or maybe, this is a big thing. Maybe there might be some frames that they offer that maybe haven't been taken advantage of. I don't know. But the only way we're going to know is if this is professional. Which means I can't wear any stained shirts. Thank you, Lisa. Which means I can't wear my favorite dad shirt, which is, it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure. And I sure can't wear my Star Wars shirts. So that means flip-flop shorts and t-shirts are out. I'm actually going to have to go to Elkhart and look halfway presentable. That's going to take a lot for me to do that. So I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it seems like they have interest. I've spoken and given them interest. I think there's an opportunity. And if you don't think so, and you're mad at me, I understand. I'm not going to take money. I'm not going to take bribes. I'm not going to have anybody push me around. But at the same time, to get information, you have to give the opportunities. And I think that's something that Liz really screwed up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this for fame. There's probably going to be a Scooby snack if you get my drift involved, because that's probably the only way I'm going to be relaxed enough to do it. And I'm nervous. I am so nervous because, it's putting me out there. I told my wife something. So when I hit 500 subscribers on the main YouTube channel, this is, 2 years ago, I hit 500 subscribers. And just something popped in my head. Like, do I really want to get that big? And, do I really want to put myself out there like that? I'm a lot of my, if you hang out with my few friends I don't have a lot of friends. I have a very small group of friends, actual friends, okay? And they'll tell you that I'm this great personality. I make them laugh. And I'm really good with a small group of people. I really am. When I'm around a small group of people. I have a good time. But I'm not, for the last probably 15 years, if you put me in a nightclub situation, you put me in a house party, a big gathering of employees at a company party, I usually sit by the bar and stay away from everyone. It's kind of the way I've been. It's kind of the way I've been for the last 15 years. You know, my wife is a little better. I mean, she'll tell you otherwise. She'll tell you that she don't like people in general, but when I get her out and we go to some nightclubs, and we used to go, visit Mexico, visit her family, we go to a couple nightclubs. She has one or two drinks. She's a lightweight, so it doesn't take much. She's out talking to people, dancing, having a good time, laughing, joking. While I'm sitting at the bar going, are we going home yet? I guess you could call me boring. But when we do a small group of things like fishing trips, or my buddy Archie and I, we went on float tubing for the first time. He never had been on a float tube before. We went float tubing on Lake Sabrina up in Bishop, California. And like that kind of situation, or when I hang out with my buddy Ned off and on, when I hang out with my buddy Fred Bennett, when I hang out with my buddy Doug Bolter, these guys, when I'm around a small group of them, it's fun. When I'm on a golf cart and we're playing a foursome on the golf course, I like to be the life of the party. Then once it gets to 12 or 15 people, I'm like, ugh. That's the real reason why I was scared to do this interview. Because I know at the end of the day, it's going to eat. There are people, obviously it will grow the channel. It will grow the podcast. There will be growth out of it. It is an opportunity for growth. I don't think it's going to grow like 1 million subscribers in a day over it or anything. I don't think it's going to go viral or anything of that nature, but I think I also will lose a lot of you, because I think a lot of you will expect me to walk in there and be guns blazing. And while I will have those moments off and on, it's not the goal of the interview. The goal of doing an interview and doing a factory tour filmed at Lippert is to do 3 things. The first thing is to get the answers we're looking for. I want to know if all the rumors from this informant or from all these quacks out there, and I mean that in a very friendly way, not in a bad way, okay, about the steel comes from China, the steel is recycled steel from Africa. I've heard all kinds of like interesting theories and allegations. So to get to the meat and potatoes of it, there's a series of 3 questions that are easy to ask that put them in a position to be able to answer it. It's not a debate between 2 presidential candidates. It's not going to be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden and see who can get the most gotcha viral moments. That's not what it's about. It's about getting you guys the real answers and the real education so you guys can make decisions. For you that haven't bought anything, that are sitting on the sidelines wondering what the heck is going on around here. And for those of you that are in a situation where you feel like you can't get your rig fixed. That's the way we get answers is by building this to a very professional and make it the best possible content we can make it. So don't forget to email me, levingstonrvservices@gmail.com. Send me your answers. If you're on YouTube, you can put the questions in the comments if you'd like. Okay? And until next time, have a great night.